now know the names of all the victims who lost their lives in that tragic Manhattan mass shooting. NYPD officer Rule Islam, Blackstone executive Wesley LePanter, Alan Etienne, that's a security guard that worked in that building, and Julia Hyman, an employee for Rudin Management. Police identified the suspected gunman as Shane Tamura, a Las Vegas resident. News 3 uncovering more about the suspect in the days leading up to that shooting. As we first reported Tuesday, law enforcement investigated an apartment associated with Shane Tamura. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Latoya Silman in for Jim tonight.
And I'm Marie Mortera. We're learning what was uncovered there and also seeing the officer's response in video you'll only see here on 3. Our Cristen Drummond joins us live near the apartment on Paradise near Harmon with the latest.
Well, Marie and Latoya, neighbors tell me police responded to the Paradise Royale apartments here behind me at around 1:30 in the morning on Tuesday, bringing not only a drone but also a robotic dog to enter the suspect's apartment. Here's this video that you will only see here on News 3. It shows the response outside of the third-story unit at Paradise Royale. A robotic dog is used to enter the apartment. News 3 learning investigators located a number of items inside. That includes antipsychotic prescription medication and a note from Shane Tamura to his family, according to New York police. In an email, the department says it stated, "When I look into you and Dad's eyes, all I see is disappointment. I love you, Mama." Police say Tamura purchased the assault rifle used in the deadly skyscraper shooting for $1,400 from his supervisor over at Horseshoe Casino on the Las Vegas Strip. The company confirming yesterday Tamura worked there as a surveillance employee. The supervisor is cooperating with investigators, and that person is not charged with a crime at this time, according to police. Meanwhile, neighbors in the complex tell me they were unsure why officers even responded to the apartment on Tuesday.
A dozen different cars, a SWAT team. I mean, I've never seen that kind of police presence before. I just gathered up my dog and came back inside, just kind of looked out the window, but something was definitely going on.
Did you finally realize why they were here?
Well, I was told originally that it might be the individual from New York, and then I later thought, well, maybe that's not so because there was a different address for him.
Metro Police first responding to a home over in Desert Shores on Monday. A search of property records indicate that it's likely owned by family members of Tamura. Now, coming up on News 3 live at 6, I speak with the next door neighbor of Tamura, what he has to say about the response, plus questions about his mental health history, following officials in New York saying there is a documented history of it. Reporting live on Paradise near Harmon, I'm Cristen Drummond, News 3.
All right, Kristen, so many moving parts. Thank you so much for the latest details on this.
We spoke to Nevada Democratic Senator Catherine Cortez Masto about gun laws. She says more needs to be done on a state and nationwide level to prevent these kinds of tragedies from happening.
Background checks, red flag laws. We've passed a lot of that legislation that other states have not. But there's more that needs to be done to address gun violence in this country. It is passing these laws. It is addressing the mental health problem. There's concern, and I think it requires that working together at a federal, state, and local level to figure out how we reduce that gun violence.
Data from Johns Hopkins University shows in 2023, Nevada's gun homicide rate was almost 3 times higher than New York's, which has one of the lowest rates in the nation.
As Kristen Drummond mentioned, Metro Police are investigating multiple locations linked to the gunman, one of them in the North Valley, the other near the central part of our valley. We reached out to Metro several times and were told they will not provide any further information on their part in this investigation.
There's no confirmation, no denial. All right? I'm not going to answer any questions. So please stay here. This is private property. Nobody is allowed inside. That's all you're getting, okay?
New York City Mayor Eric Adams says 2 teams from New York are here in the Valley as this investigation continues. Those New York officials are looking into the shooter's actions leading up to the attack and the weapons that he used to carry them out.
News 3's Tiffany Lane joining us here on set to break down what detectives are looking for as a search for answers continues. So Tiffany, what have you learned?
Yeah, Maria and Latoya, I did speak with a retired Henderson and New York City police officer. Now, he talks about just what this process looks like. He says he doesn't believe that this will be a long investigation unless they find out that someone else was involved. But at this time, he believes that that is actually unlikely. David Kohlmeyer tells me it's not unusual for NYPD to work outside of its jurisdiction in general. We know NYPD is a large agency, and he says that they very often send officers to different states and even different countries in some cases. He says this helps provide intel in real time, and in this case, he says the goal is to likely look into how the weapons were obtained and if there was any negligence, say maybe from law enforcement or any who may have known of possible mental health history.
So Tiffany, thank you for that. Now, other than the rifle that he used in the attack, we know authorities are also looking into how he got to New York City, driving there over a matter of 3 days. So what can you tell us about how they were able to track his movements?
Yeah, we don't have a lot of information on that at this point, but Kohlmeyer talks about a license plate detection system that's common in a lot of areas. Now, this helps see things like his route around Vegas, for example, maybe stopping at a gun shop, or in his drive to New York City. Did he stop to see anyone, or was he acting erratically or acting unusual?
These are little cameras that are on police cars or on different locations. Like if you go over a bridge, right, it's scanning of the license plate, and it actually takes all the information and will show you the date and time stamp and the address of where that vehicle was last seen.
Now tonight on News 3 Live at 6, Kohlmeyer delves into how officers will likely look into if there was any negligence by law enforcement or other agencies who may possibly have known of any medical history, as well as looking into how those weapons were obtained. Again, this is very early on. We already know there really have investigations going on in New York and here, so we're really trying to get more information. But he gives an interesting perspective as someone who lives out here, worked out here, but then also worked for NYPD. So we'll have more of what he has to say later tonight on News 3.
Yeah, and it's really important for us to all learn this type of information, because even though it's too late for those 4 victims in New York, it could possibly save someone's life in the future. So it really is important that they figure out what happened here, and if something went wrong, how they can correct in the future. Thank you so much.
The Las Vegas Resiliency Justice Center is here for those who may need mental health support due to the tragedies we saw earlier this week. It was initially formed to respond after the 1 October mass shooting. All services are free and confidential. For more information or to connect with a trauma-informed therapist, you can visit resiliencyandjustice.org.
And a reminder, you can find the latest on this incident on air and online. You can use the QR code that's on your screen right now. That will take you to our website, news3lv.com, where you can stay up to date on all breaking news as it happens.